You don't know, like, oh, you're all bad. You're all bad. Don't you feel bad that you're all bad?
To this episode of Chatting with Staxx. I'm your host, Bill Staxx, and today I got PeeWee.
It was hilarious, bro. We're eating these big turkey legs, drinking a beer and shit. It was medieval times.
Yeah,
it was pretty fun, and I was honored because I was sitting there with Big Mike and another member that was like the top of my list. His name was Blondie, and he was like from Denmark. I think it was like Copenhagen or something, I believe. And he was like the Sonny Barger for Europe. You know, I mean, this guy was tattooed from his fingers. When I say fingers, I mean like right up to the fingernails. Yeah. All the fingers, his whole fingers, everything. I mean, right up to the top of his neck. And I'll never forget it because I walked over and he's selling T-shirts. And he's a buffed out dude, you know, and he just did 16 years in the penitentiary. That's 2 life sentences. That's what they gave him. 2 life sentences, 8 years. That's all life sentences.
Out there, that's all it is, 8 years?
He shot 2 banditos in the back of the head. They executed them because they had a big war going on with those guys there. I don't know if they got it patched up or not. I don't pay attention to it anymore, but he's out now. He was out of prison. And I was dying to meet him. So I come walking up to him, you know, and he turns around, and I guess the club he was in before he was a Hell's Angel, I don't know what the name of it was, but bro, from like the top right here, the neck, all the way to the bottom of his stomach, to both sides of it, all the way to his rib cage, was the biggest swastika I've ever seen. Probably the size of one on a flag. That's how big it was. And, you know, and he had all his tattoos all around it. So, but you could see it, you know, and it was shaded.
Yeah.
And I was thinking to myself, holy Christ, that was badass, you know, because I had the big lightning bolts. You can see, I don't know if you can see them now. I had a big lightning bolt. See them?
Yeah, they're huge.
Yeah. So his swastika blew my lightning bolts away, bro. But I walked over and I hit it off with him, and he was like one of my mentor guys, you know, like when I go anytime to Europe, I always wanted to see Blondie because he was like the main guy. And I put a picture of him in my book too, you know. He wouldn't talk to me because, you know, he's all club and he's strictly by the rules. And he's in Moscow now. He moved to Moscow and he started a charter there.
So you can go anywhere in the world?
Yeah.
Basically?
Well, yeah, he's been in the club so long, and the clout and, you know, the reputation he had. When they started in Moscow, he just went over there and started a charter, took the guys over there, and they started. But if it's a club like I'm just saying, it could be like Johnny Booger and the Nose Pickers, you know what I mean? If those guys want to join the Hells Angels and they're in like in Chile or Venezuela or something, they have to travel to every country that the Hells Angels are in to show them, you know, hey, they introduce themselves or they won't ever get voted in as a new country. So that's pretty hard. And with that being said, when I was in Vegas, remember when I moved to Vegas and I started the charter there, I was really good friends with these German brothers, right? They were from Germany, but they started a new charter in Luxembourg. Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah.
I never have, bro. So when I went down there, they took me there, and I says, "Where are we?" They said, "Oh, you're in the country now of Luxembourg." And
I've never been there. I've never been to the
right, bro.
Europe
So I've never even heard of it.
Yeah.
So I said, "This is a country?" And they said, "Yeah, this is the first country. It's a little tiny country, bro. It's like, it's like Rhode Island, It's about the size of that." And they said, "Yeah, this is the first country that Hitler took over." Well, yeah, you know what I mean? I could see him taking over that country. And then, he worked his way into Poland, Italy, and all around there. He was making his guy stomped through all these towns, but they were in Luxembourg, but they were more German. And they got Luxembourg going. Now they're like kind of moving back into Germany, but they were good friends of mine.
Yeah. And
they invited me one time to go with, you're going to die when you're to Albania, which is right next to Iraq. Okay. Yeah. So we fly in there, bro. And we stay at a 5-star hotel that was a total dump. Yeah, it says it was 5 stars. Me and another member were sitting like this in the hot room, what do you call it, sauna?
Yeah.
And man, we're sitting there, we pour some water on the rocks, the steam's coming up, and we're just sitting relaxing. All of a sudden, out of the ceiling, bro, the light falls, whoop, and it just stops in the middle of the room, hanging by the wires. And the light's still on. And the other guy goes, "Hey," and he reaches for it. I said, "Hey, don't touch that, man. It's electricity. You don't know. You know what I mean? We're
wet. You're sweating."
We're wet. Yeah. I said, "Don't touch that thing, man. Don't touch it." So I go out, there's a phone out there, and I call up to the front desk, and I said, "Hey, man, we're sitting here in a sauna, and the light just fell out." And he goes, "We'll send a repair guy down right now." So we're sitting there. He walks in. He's got rubber gloves on, right? He grabs the light, wipes it all off, wipes it down and stuff, wipes the top off, shoves the light back up in there, and he takes some duct tape, and he duct tapes it, and he goes, "There you go," and he walks out, and we look at each other. We start laughing. Soon as the moisture hit that duct tape, fell right out of the ceiling again. I said, "Man, let's get out of here before we get fucking electrocuted," Yeah, and the other guy was almost as big as me, Staxx, almost as big as me. So we told him, "Hey, we want to use the hot tub." So they had to fill it up, and they filled it. I mean, right to the top. And it was a little tiny one, bro. It was only like a 3-man one. So me and this guy get in there.
It's like,
it was right, bro. It was a 2-man one. Whoosh, the water went over everywhere, bro. We flooded the place. It was funny. Hilarious. It was funny, but when you go up there are those beds. I don't know if you ever went to I don't know if I'm saying it right. That store that came from Sweden.
IKEA?
IKEA. Thank you.
Yes,
yeah.
It's my mom's favorite store.
Well, did you ever look at the beds and stuff that they make in there? They're just the little skinny lats right under the beds.
Yeah.
Bro, I get up in there. The first ones I ever hit was in Spain. I went in there, and I put my shit down on the floor. Oh, I just want to lay on the bed. I lay down, crack, right to the floor I go. Right, the mattress, everything, right to the floor.
Yeah, but how big were you at your biggest around that time?
I was like 460, 6'8". Yeah.
That's big, man.
Right. And bro, I was doing a lot of steroids, man. I was benching a lot, and I could deadlift 1,000 pounds, man. I was very, very strong, but I was super heavy. But to get shit to fit me, my chest was 62 inches. And I couldn't get like suit coats, and it was hard for me to get like tuxedos and shit like that. Everything had to be custom made. So I broke the bed, but when I got on it, I only broke the corner of its axe, so it was kind of like kind of leaning like that.
Yeah.
So Big Mike had nowhere to stay, and I said, "Mike, stay with us. Stay with us, man. We already got the bungalow." There was another bed in another room. This other guy was sleeping. And I said, I'll sleep on where the table is in the kitchen part. They had a bench, a hardwood bench there with a big cushion on it. And I said, I'll sleep on there because I know I wasn't crashing through that. And Mike's a big dude, right? Mike had to be, if I had to guess his weight, but he was big chested arm. He worked out. He's a big man. He was probably about, I'd say 250, 260 maybe, but solid, solid muscle dude. And he went in there and he says, would you mind if I sleep on the bed then, PeeWee? I said, it's all yours, brother. He lay down on her. I hear crash. He goes right through it.
He broke it the rest of the way.
Yeah, I said, you broke it the rest. So he just slept on the mattress on the floor. No, we just left it on the floor. And the bed broke when I went to Albania. I laid on the bed, went right through the floor. So, man, it's them little lats don't work for guys my size.
No.
But the hotel itself and the club that was there, I think they were called the Iron Wings. None of them had a Harley. Only one guy had a Harley. And they were poor. So with that being said, Staxx, you got to think, let's be realistic here. That's the way I think, realistic. The guys from Germany just wanted to get us in another country. But I told them, I said, listen, man, it's cool what you're doing. You're trying to make the club grow and grow and grow. Like when I said Venezuela, Chile, we already have charters there.
Yeah.
The club does have charters there. So the Albania guys, they were very likable. They treated us great. And I thanked them for all that. But, I think at the end they looked at me like, well, kiss our ass, you piece of shit. Because when we sat down with them, I told them, man, you guys just ain't cut out to be us. And I think they took it the wrong way. They took it like, I was saying that they weren't tough enough or whatever what they thought. What it was, bro, they were broke. Staxx, they were broke as fuck. They're driving these old Kawasaki's, these Yamahas. Bro, they're barely running. One guy had a Harley bagger. One guy did. And I said, you guys got to switch over. You got to get Harleys. You can't ride these Jap bikes,
Yeah. Yeah, they can't.
They're like, well, we can't afford it right now. Now, going back to what I just told you a while ago, Staxx, they got to go to every place in the world. You only got to send one guy. So Verna Charles said, hey, Staxx, you want to go? All right, so we're all putting money in, to fly you there. But still, they didn't have the money to do that.
Yeah. So.
And I knew it, bro. I knew it because I seen, like even we went to eat places, they didn't even have money to eat. So I told the German brothers, I said, come on, guys. These guys ain't us. They're never going to make it. They're not going to be able to afford to leave this country all the time. Plus, it was at that time when, everybody was still kind of like on a high alert over the, 9/11 thing,
Yeah.
And I said, man, it's just the geographic area it's in. And these guys just ain't us. They had a big party for us and shit. And I took another member with me, a 25-year member. His name is Freddie. He's out of the club now, too. And I was with Freddie, and we're sitting there, and he says, Farrakhan was his real name, but they called him, believe this, and it wasn't just like short for Farrakhan. They call him Ferry. I told him, oh, man, that would be a horrible name for you in America. Ferry?
Yeah, terrible.
Yeah, terrible. Ferry.
Yeah.
Even when he came to America, I take a place. I said, "Hey, this is my brother Ferry." Did he? What? Yeah, it was bad, but he was a great guy, and he was the one pushing us. So he says, "PeeWee, you come up on the stage with me, huh? And you come up there, you talk to the crowd." I go, "No, I don't want to do that, bro. I don't want to do it." He says, "Why not?" I just didn't feel like it. I didn't want to do it. So I turned and I said, "Hey, Freddie, why don't you go do it?" And I wasn't telling him because, you didn't have that kind of power as a president, even though I was his president of his charter. He was in my charter. He was my sergeant of arms. And I said to him, Freddie, why don't you go speak? Why don't you go talk for us? And he goes, here's where you see this is what I meant. This is what I meant when you read my book, bro. So then you get the resentment, the hating, the backstabbing, the jealousy. It came out right here, bro. If you asked me that and said that, what would you think if I said to you, "No, Staxx, you go do it. You're You're Mr. Popularity. You're Mr. Everybody wants to shake your hand, take pictures. You're the guy. You go out there, you do it." That's what he said to me.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, and I looked at him. I said, "You motherfucker, man." I said, "So that's how you feel about me?" And he goes, "Well, you're Mr. Popularity." Here's what it was, bro. I was 6'8", 450 pounds, all tatted up. That's what people see in a big giant Hell's Angel. I'm going to get a picture with this guy.
Hey, you're a personable guy, though. You're a likable guy. A lot of people are around you. You attract a lot of people.
Exactly. And Sonny said to me one time, "I watch you, PeeWee. You always stop to shake people's hand. You always stop to take photos. You never talk shit to anybody. Well, unless they talk shit to me first." But he said, "You always take the time." And he goes, "Most of the people fear us. But then on the other hand, the majority of them respect us and who we are." But he says, what's good about that is you got to keep that together. The fear and the respect is what we want. So he says, when I'm long gone and dead, he says, you're gonna be the guy, that it's going to be a big representation in this club. And I said, I don't want that. I didn't want it. I didn't want it. Sonny had it, and that was good for Sonny, and I mean, everywhere we went, people were following him, and we were doing our own thing. And why he said that was why he was signing books, and people would take pictures with him. I was standing there, it was in my shop. People first would go, "Can I get a picture with you, man?" I go, "Yeah." So most of them were taking a picture with me first, and then they go up, get a book signed by Sonny, and they leave. Some would get a picture with him, some wouldn't. And at the end of it, he says to me, "You son of a bitch, I think you had more pictures than I did." So, when I told Freddie, go out there and do that, and he said that to me, that really pissed me off. So I turned to Ferry and I says, and he's out of the club now too, man. It's funny, all these names I tell you are all out.
Yeah.
So I said, "I'll tell you what, Ferry, I'll go out there on the stage with you, but I'm not talking. But I'll support you. I'll go stand there with you." Now, bro, I'm a big man, like you said. So I was the only guy who could wear a big giant United States, not USA, everybody else was wearing. I wore the whole United States